Are we live?
Yo! Sorry.
Crazy move.
He has been.
He has risen.
He has risen indeed. All right, episode 28. We are live. What's up, TikTok? What's up,
VibeCheck.
YouTube? TikTok, YouTube.
TikTube.
Grace and Robbie boy. I'm
That's
so
right.
sorry about that.
You're good. Anyways, get out of here.
Oh, sorry.
VibeCheck, episode 28.
28.
Overcoming your
Fears.
fears. Which
Robbie came up with it.
We have none of. Actually.
I don't fear anything.
Fear nothing. Because, you know what?
We're not sissies.
Christ.
Christ.
But, yeah,
He's like, we fear nothing. You know why? We got Christ. Anyways.
but for anybody that may not, I'm just kidding.
Who's not saved? This
is for you.
This is for you. No, but guys, listen, overcoming fears, you never want to undercome them because that's when they will prevail and take away so much value from your life. Your fears will be your number one downfall. So, Robbie, what does overcoming fears mean to you?
I want to preface this with saying that like fear in and of itself should have like a strong, like, I wouldn't say like hold over your life, but it should be respected, just in terms of God in and of himself, because if we were to fear nothing at all, there would be no use for God in general. But we're instilled with that for a reason, to protect us, just with nature and like how we, came from our prehistoric, ancestors of like running away from like leopards, tigers, bears, etc. It really protects us. So moving forward with that, it's important to acknowledge like when it's useful to be, fearful. But in today's society, a lot more people are fear-based based off of their emotions, based off their life circumstances that sometimes have nothing to do with life or death situations. It's very like anxious-driven, sometimes depressive-driven. Just sometimes it's just like, fearful to like have unexpected circumstances pop up, which a lot of people live in that lifestyle of like not knowing what to expect moving forward. But I feel like it's really important to realize, first of all, that I think fearing God is the number one thing that you should be fearful of, just because he's all-knowing and all-powerful. And I think it's out of respect just to have that fearfulness, but not to live in fear. I think that's a really important factor, to live in love, but to be fearful of him is crucial. And then second of all, to be able to recognize patterns in life. So say, you're going through a breakup, for example, and like things are starting to get troublesome. Like I think through each of these circumstances, it's really important to take some time. And this is just an example of a breakup. It's important to take some time to recognize the patterns of which you find yourself going down a rabbit hole of a same or a similar situation or scenario in this relationship, to recognize it moving forward, so that you can conquer it before it even pops up. And that's something they teach us in sales too, is like objection handling. So being able to recognize patterns before they even come up is like really important and crucial, because what it will do is like, instead of like something happening and you getting all like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen or what I'm going to do, it's like, you recognize the pattern first, and then you establish like, okay, here's the action I'm going to take because I've done this, been here, done that before. So it really like helps you overcome the fear, which is the title of the message. So that's how I want to start off. But what does overcoming fears mean to you?
That same thing.
That's it. Welcome to
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. No, like honestly, it's kind of like also what you said about like there has to be bad days in order to have good days, and you're like, it's good. Like there needs to be things that you should be afraid of. You can't, overcoming fears. Like there's going to be certain fears in your life that you kind of like what we're saying, fearing God, which may sound like a scary thing. Like fear God, I thought he was supposed to like be the savior. It's you can have this fear, but not this like, oh no. It's just like a respectful, like, I know what you're capable of, and I know it could be out of my control, and I fear the consequence if I do not behave appropriately with how I'm supposed to do. However, there are fears that are more what word would you use? I don't want to say tangible, but like, what fears? How could we categorize fears that should be overcome? What would be a word for that? What do you think?
Fears that should be able to be overcome?
Yeah, would you just like fears from trauma, or like just like, because it's like we're saying like, yeah, like there's some fears that you should have, but there's fears that you need to overcome. How would you classify those fears that need to be overcome? Like if you had to make a column, like to
I think
accomplish.
it's a good like starting point. Is like a lot of it is probably due to trauma or past histories or circumstances that may have happened before to make you feel this way. But that's the point, is to recognize it and self-assess your own thoughts and emotions in order to recognize that and establish an action and a response rather than you reacting.
Right. It's kind of like, in a way, fears that would be more so out of your control.
Right.
Meaning, like, okay, so whether it was trauma or whatever happened in my past, I can't change that. That's out of my control. I can't change this past. So,
I say it's anything internal you can fully control.
yeah, internally you can control.
Right.
So that's the incentive to make the change.
Right.
But what you can't would be what has already been done in the past, which is why you don't let that, become this wall to accomplishing your goals, because the whole point of overcoming the fear would be to become not only the best version of yourself, but to be as successful as you can be. Because whether the fear is from depression or past trauma, that fear is going to tell you you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You should not be at the top. You will not progress. And
Yeah.
if you ask any of your friends, you're like, yeah, like this is, I can't do it. And my friends, you know how it is. If my friends tell me I can't do it, I go, who told you you can't? And your fears, your fear.
You got that from me, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You got that from me. I own the copyrights. But your fear will be your biggest enemy.
Facts. Something that I'm actually trying to do a lot better of a job at. Something I've always kind of praised myself on, and it might have just been my ego based off of what I've gone through and what I've overcome. So honestly, we've talked about this a lot, and something that I didn't know I could be better at until
Manipulation? I didn't know I could be better at, but,
No, but
I hear you talk.
empathy in general. I've been through a lot, and I can understand where a lot of people come from and where a lot of people are in their positions. And it's easy for me to relate, I guess is what I'm saying. But that's not exactly what empathy is. Just because you understand where somebody's at, based off of their circumstances or the way that they're framing their words, is crucial. But taking it the next step and being able to climb down the ladder for where you're at, in a situation, and being able to not only be like, hey, just climb up the ladder and tell them in a life coachy way, just be like, hey, here's the resources, just do this. But really being able to climb down the ladder and feel the moment with somebody, whether they're fearful, sad, anxious, being able to feel that with them is super crucial in any circumstance where you're trying to help somebody out or help them overcome a challenge. Because if you're just hey, just do this, they're not gonna know what to do with that. I think sometimes you really have to climb down that ladder and be like, hey, I'm here for you. I'm no better than you are. I'm feeling this out with you, but I want to show you there's a better route. So just come with me and we can climb this together.
So in a way, are you saying that it's crucial for, is your point that, not only do you have to overcome your own fears, but help your friends as well and come down that ladder and battle through it in a way together?
Absolutely, because I feel a lot of the times we all start at the bottom of the ladder, especially after something that may have happened to us, whether it be trauma or drama or anything like that that's going on in your life. But at one point or another, we take a look inside of ourselves, because that's where the true resources are. A lot of people try to find them elsewhere, but what it really takes is self-awareness and self-assessment for you to be able to find the tools, because they're always within you in the first place, because God has instilled them within you. So really taking a look inside and finding the resources to build that ladder for yourself, but also being able to climb down that ladder again, feel the moment with somebody that may be struggling with what you were struggling with in the past, and help them navigate through that with you, instead of just being like, hey, I've done this, this is exactly how you do it, because the way you do it may be different than the way that they're going to be able to do it. And I think that's really important to note.
So in a way, then also it's crucial that when you want to overcome your fears, that you're around very good people and friends that you can trust, because a lot of times when you're trying to climb that ladder alone, it's a lot easier when you have the assistance with a friend that you can understand, but also you have to get down that ladder and also practice empathy, get on the same page and understand what you need to do and have that communication. So, okay, so that being said, let's just take that and then, okay, so in what ways do you feel that, how do I say this? Say you're trying to overcome a fear, and let's just say it is very draining and you're on the verge of quitting, and you unfortunately don't have the network, resources, friends, or whatever like, and you just find yourself just sitting there, what would be your, like, let's just say you have a trump card or a ultimate call to action. Like, what do you tell yourself when you're like, okay, right now I don't have that support? Because we've even had a conversation with like sometimes even like motivational
Or
wise,
maybe
like,
somebody that you might not be able to relate to in this as a certain situation, right?
like, let's just say you're alone and you have to power through alone. Let's just say you can't talk to your friends at that moment. Like someone says, okay, well, I have to climb this ladder, but unfortunately my friends are all out of town. What do you do?
What do you do?
How do you overcome it alone?
The first thing that I would really try to do is just take take a second to really assess the situation. Really just take it for what it is. Really kind of
Process, analyze.
process, analyze, dissect the situation for exactly what it is, and really see it for all that you can get from the situation.
Maybe
as well.
write down. Maybe
Writing it down is
write
a really
down your
helpful tool.
emotions.
Like journaling is a huge tool for a lot
Could
of
help
people.
you see like what makes sense, what doesn't make
because
sense. In your
what's
life.
all in your head, it's like jumbling around. Sometimes it's hard to like articulate like internally. So when you do write it down, you can like see it for what it is. And a lot of people have done this. I've even done this where I've like journaled something from like 4 years ago, and like I can look back at it now and be like, this makes so much sense to me now that I see it for what it is rather than like, in that moment it's just like.
Or even you look back and you're like, no way was I worried about that.
It's like a thought that's like a tied up knot. And like you journaling it down, like each word is like you like taking a thread and being like, all right, let me unwind this a little bit, and you able to like see it linearly.
Because overcoming a fear, I guess maybe I should even said this 10 minutes ago, but the first part of overcoming is understanding it, why it's there. You need to know the why. And when you can journal and figure out what, like, that literally was what I was going to say of like, if you're alone and you can't talk to friends, if in a way you kind of got to talk to yourself, like, you're going to go in circles in your head. There's just so much, there's so many thoughts. It's easier to put that on paper and then, like, even I've done it before, and I can literally look at it and be like, wow, like, why am I afraid of that? Because I wrote this down. It's like, say you're looking at a multiple choice question and you're seeing some choices and you're like, that doesn't make sense. That wouldn't be the answer. And I'm like, well, why am I even considering that an answer? I would never circle that. And you kind of exit off. You like cross it off.
Something that I found in very few individuals, like a lot of people that I look up to, but like not a lot of my peers have this in common with me. Like I know you have this experience as well, is a huge step to overcoming your fears, and that's literally putting yourself in situations where you're not comfortable, where you're not,
break out of the comfort zone,
where you don't know what's going to happen next. So, like for me, for example, like moving out in 8th grade and living with friends throughout high school, like that's something like. Was it scary? Yeah, I had no idea what to expect out of that. Moving to LA, same thing for you. It's like, who knows what's to come of this, but we're going to take our shot and make ourselves and force ourselves to be completely independent in this situation. And I feel like the more you put yourself in circumstances where you're unaware, the more you have the tools and resources to bring that out within yourself without needing anybody externally. Now, that's not to say that like it's definitely crucial to like reach out when you do need help, because it's just like, I'd say unwise just not to, because somebody can help bridge the gap for you a lot faster than you have to dig the valley and overcome the valley on your own. So somebody's probably built the bridge already and you can just walk across it. So that being said, like putting yourself in situations where like your resilience is tested and like you come out over top on those situations makes you much more of a confident individual, and it gives you the tools and resources to know that you have it all within you in the first place. And so that being said, just break out of your comfort zone. It's going to help you overcome your fears too.
So another thing is you spoke of a bridge. Let's use that again for another metaphor. Say this bridge, and let's say there's a bridge here, and here's you, and here's the process of overcoming your fear, and then you have X, which is at the end of the bridge, the destination, where like you want to get to the end of the bridge. It's like, okay, like crossing this bridge is overcoming your fear. But what I've been telling myself is that no matter what, I'm already going to be at X, and I'm already okay. And that alone takes away the fear. And let me explain that. It's like, so now we're going to have to bring up God. Fear. There's in this world, here's the sad truth. You will always be afraid of something, because no matter what, there is sin in this world and you will get hurt. You'll never be immune. You're not a robot. You're not perfect. You will feel that pain at some point, some way or another. There's always going to be something. This is an imperfect, sinful world. That being said, when I fear, because sometimes I can fear. Every time I look back at every situation, that I was like, oh no, and I just really was just getting anxious about, like, no, this cannot happen. Like, I'm generally scared of this, and this, because a lot of times I get vibes. It comes true. VibeCheck. And so here I've realized that every situation that I feared of, I ended up at X, and a bigger X. Like, it was like, like, say, like, X is buried treasure, whatever. Like, my destination, not only did I end up there, but I got there faster. Because when you put your trust into God and you understand that God has this plan for you, that it's like, yeah, you could fear this, and I understand, but let me hold your hand. We can fear it together in a way.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with like manifestation in a way, when you're kind of like, pre-assuming like your future destiny, right? When that X is like, oh, I know I'm gonna get there. It's just from here to here, but I already know I'm gonna get there. So like, it's gonna be easier route when you believe it, first of all. But I'm sure a lot of your fans would be intrigued to know, what are your biggest actionable motivators? Like, what really instills in you, like what drives you to want to get from A to B? And like, a lot of people have these goals and these visions and things like that they want to work towards. What does it take to actually build the planks to get across that bridge?
So, two answers. One, and pretty much what I was saying, I generally feel, because when you're walking with God, it's not that others who don't, follow God are not working hard. There's people I know who are grinding. They don't follow the Lord. It's okay.
A lot of them are worldly successful.
They're getting things done. The thing is that I can only imagine, because they're climbing up these mountains and hills, when you're walking with God and He's dreaming with you, you're literally on water, walking on water. So instead of going up and down, you'll get here. You're going from, like, X to Y, and you have all these hills. But with God, you're on, and you're just walking. You're getting there faster than just running up these hills. And so this fear, I'm like, wait a second, I'm on this water. I'm like, I'm not sinking. I'm gonna get to X faster. Like, I'm already getting. God's like, yeah. So the first answer is that, because I literally tell myself all the time, like, that's literally what I tell myself. I'm like, God, he has me. I give it to the Lord. But a more, let's just say, earthly answer, so we can visualize these planks, would be, I look at the situation and I see that, let's just say everybody, everyone has fears. So I'm like, wait a second, like, the competition ain't too tough. Meaning, like, whether it's making TikToks or lifting, it's like, well, only 20 to 30,000 have a six pack in this world.
20, 30,000?
Yeah, it's more likely to be a millionaire than to have a six pack. I swear, in the United States, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And so here, what did I say, world or not? I know, at least in the United States. Am I correct? At least
that makes me feel pretty good about myself.
That's also what was motivating me to get the six pack back. I was like,
really?
20 to 30,000?
That's crazy.
Guess who shared that on their story?
Yeah, I already know.
Anyways.
Somebody that has a six pack, though, huh?
Oh, actually.
No, I have no idea then.
Oh, I'll tell you later. But anyways, so building the planks, it's like, okay, wait a second. This what I'm fearing. A lot of times, what you fear, and like, there's a comfort zone that is very popular amongst people in general. It's the most common. It's very normal. It's more rare to get people busting out of it and going, yo. And so overcoming your fears is getting the hell out of that zone. And when you bust through that, there's less people, and you're like, wait a second, like, there's less competition. So I want to build these planks, but keeps me motivated to get to point X would be, it doesn't take that much work to get there, because a lot of people are not pushing themselves. And if you just tell yourself, you know what? I can do it. And I'm not going to let this fear or any past trauma that I can't even control, because it already happened. What I can control is what you said, what's internal, and feeling, wait a second, if I can change this within myself, and I can't change what already happened, and I'm looking at the competition, most people are in their comfort zones, you telling me I just got to bust out of it? I could be one of the 20 to 30,000, so small percentage of all the people in the United States have, six pack, whether it's getting in the gym, or I fear getting in the gym and being judged. 3-4 months, you could be one of the 20 to 30,000. You could even on I can't make videos.
Well, after this podcast, it's gonna be like 40,000.
Yeah, 40,000, right? But pretty much like there's just so many things. But what about you? What allows you to build those planks and ensures you and you have the peace of mind knowing I'm gonna get the X. I'm Robbie Speaks and I'm getting to the end of that bridge.
I think a lot of it, what it has to do with is like to build on top of like everything that Shane just said, was that next step of like once you overcome something, or once you're known as the guy that just like accomplishes goal after goal after goal after goal, you now have not the identity to be like, um
Oh, I love what you're about to say.
not results driven, but you're just known as the individual that just does that. So that really like ties in a lot to like how you see yourself, and to see like yourself anything other than you when you look yourself at the end of in the mirror at the end of the day, like, is unacceptable. Like that
You set an image, an expectation for
Yeah.
yourself.
yeah, you set and that's like has a lot to do with your integrity with yourself too. Is like, are you keeping the promises that you're keeping to yourself? Like I say I'm gonna do A, B, C, or D. It's like at the end of the day, can I look at myself and be like, I'm proud of you? It's like that's like a scary like statement to or question to say if you're not following through with what you say you're gonna do. And it's like, if you can't be really integrous with yourself, how are you gonna be integrous with your wife or your kids? Or we're not even in a position to have those yet, but like it's just a scary thought. So like making sure that's really asserted, and making sure that's a main focus first, I feel like is a crucial part moving forward.
Speaking of crucial, I have to say this. Robbie is one of those people, and I'm very happy. It just happens he's someone who hosts the podcast as well, but he's one of those people that, and our mutuals will say it too. This is not like me trying to make him look at this. Is just a fact. When you set this image for yourself, and it's very respectable, it's like okay, and integrous, it's consistent. It's like, oh, that's inspiring. Like Brittany is. She has told me this. I would put every penny I have that she would say, "Oh, Robbie, it's inspiring to me." Robbie also inspired. He inspired my growth with the Lord, because every Sunday, he gives his time to God, and it's like, hey, this is every time. He could have fear of, well, I'm living in Los Angeles. I need to work Sundays. I gotta pay. I gotta do this. I gotta. And people follow that because so he can't let them down. Not only did he set this expectation with himself, but it's so high and it's so influential to so many others that literally like, oh, well, I have to do this because why can't I if Robbie can? My friend Robbie can, and so I can too. You invoke that belief and you let them overcome their fear. So it's kind of like if you let them down and you succumb to your own fear, they're like, oh, well, if Robbie can't even power through, well, how can I? And so it's like, in a way, you have that weight, but you have to stay integrous and stay strong.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of you that are watching this may not see yourself as a leader, but that could change at the snap of a finger. It literally takes a decision. We got to talk to him.
Oh yeah.
But it really takes a snap of a decision for you to become the person that you've always wanted to become. So you may not get like to the extent of like the image that you see, but to make a decision right now to make that conversion is going to put you on that path.
What does that look like? What does that look like for the viewers?
Yeah, for right now, it's like literally taking the self-awareness and saying like, what does success look like for me? What is going to make me proud and happy? When ultimately, how can I serve God's purpose in the best way that he wants me to live this life right now? What does that look like 50, 60 years down the road? And how can I implement my life right now to take the actions to do that? So it's not for me to say what that looks like for everybody else, but really takes a lot of self-awareness and self-assessment. So yeah, just making sure that you are very self-aware is like a huge crucial part to life success in general. First of all, and I was referring to something else, but I definitely blanked on it, and that's okay. But
You know what's funny?
what's that?
What you were about to say and refer to, I blanked on it. I know what you're talking about. I was about to say something about it too. But I was so invested in what you were saying.
I did want to mention this part. So yes, the leaders. Anyways.
Yes. Yeah. I got something.
You all have a little bit of leadership in you, but to really like, I'm not calling everybody to be leaders, but to take initiative on your life and write your own story instead of everybody writing it for you, or you like looking at out the window instead of looking at the mirror to see like what success looks like for you. you guys all have that in you, and you never know who's truly watching you either. And like he was talking about how like I have friends that like I've encouraged even himself in certain areas of my life just simply by living my life. I'm not like, hey Shane, you should definitely go to church more often, or
Or
you
hey,
should go to
watch
church every
me
week.
drive my way to church.
Yeah, it's like, hey Shane, I'm on my way to church. It shakes up. But like, no, you never know who's truly watching you, and that goes for everybody out there. It doesn't matter if like you're some influencer, this, that, or the other. Like you could be inspiring just by taking action, like simple action. Like you could be maybe wanting to get better at playing chess, and like you be sitting in the library playing chess, and you may not even know who you're inspiring. Like somebody could be walking past and be like, oh damn, I haven't played chess
So you
in
should be
years.
cautious of that also in public. Like you don't know
Yeah,
who's watching you, so you always want to be a good influence.
not even to the people that are gonna know you or have conversation with you.
Everybody.
It's like
Plant the
somebody
seed.
walking by. Oh, these people are playing chess. I kind of want to play chess now.
Nah.
So like you bring it over to your friends and you start playing chess. That's like a small example, but like it goes on large scale too. Like say for example, I'm going, and it's also is a negative impact sometimes as well. So say if I'm, going over to a buddy's house and I haven't drank in 3 or 4 years, he's cracking open beer and I'm like, yeah, I can have a beer. It's fine. It's like, yes, it's fine, but like just be aware. It's the awareness of like what you're allowing.
So Robbie's drink, he never drink. That's okay. I have another one tonight.
Yeah, it's like
I
something
like
like
that.
that. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying
Yeah.
like drinking's bad. If you're under 21,
Everything
definitely not.
balanced.
But taking it in moderation and really not allowing what's happening outside of you to influence you. If it's not in alignment with who God sees you to be and who you want to be for yourself as well.
And speaking of like writing things down and being a leader, New Year's, you write down all your goals, correct? You do that this year?
Yep.
So you guys are like, okay, well, what can I do right now that could just be that switch? So you want to overcome fears. Write down your goals of what you want to do. And Noah, who was Noah D, was
Previous roommate.
previous
Great
roommate.
friend. Great friend.
Two things I'll say about him. One is that he learned this from Robbie, and I think it's his number one motivator. If you're making progress every day, you're on the right track. You will be a leader if every day you take that as an opportunity to better yourself. Write down your goals, take action daily. Don't let fear keep you doing nothing. If you're doing something, you are overcoming that fucking fear. Do it. Write them down. Even you guys could even, and I welcome this. Write down your goals. We even say this is a little homework. Send them to Robbie or I on Instagram or anything, and like, hey, like, what do you think of these goals? Not that, oh, those are right, those are wrong. We're not gonna check it off, but like, if you want, like, hey, like some accountability or like, feel free, like Robbie, J, Bobby, Shane Hackey, want to get you guys involved. Please write down your goals. It's just another step. And then the second thing about Noah is, speaking about people who you don't know who's watching. I invited Noah to live with us. Noah was my buddy first, meaning, we were filming stuff. He came, he got to know Robbie, but I don't see what Noah sees of Robbie, but he was saying something and he was looking at me as well. And he goes to me, he goes, yeah, I see you guys every day. You're just like, so like positive, motivating. You guys want to get things done. I just like, where does that come from? And it was like, I want that. So like people will see you and they'll, like our answer was, hey, God. But, it's every day though. We are getting up and humbly or taking steps that we know we need to take in order to achieve what we know we need to do. And people will watch and people will see. It's not just there are other people, especially with Robbie that I know, that are just kind of like, oh shit. And you kind of think, well, I need to stop making excuses because it's not impossible. And it's not impossible for you to overcome your fears, I promise you. Don't waste your time. There's no need. There's no need. And I hate when I talk to people and another update for somebody moving out of LA. Yeah, there's like I have no friends here. You'll be surprised. Actually, no, you probably won't be. That's not a bad thing, but it's more so sad, but it's a problem. So, this was honestly, if I may ask, so this was Robbie's topic. I was like, Robbie, what are you thinking? What made you think of this topic for today?
Honestly, like I know a lot of people that are just like struggling, like financially right now, and a lot of people like are living in a scarcity mindset, and so I feel like that has a lot to do with like trauma of the past for sure, and like being able to like carry that forward with like how they're living now and how they make financial decisions. But just really just like knowing it's all about mindset going into it, I feel like it's a crucial like turning point moving forward, and like where you place your values, your beliefs. Actually, probably only 10% of people do. It's still a lot, but it's just crazy. But definitely encourage that first of all, because if you have no finish line, you're not gonna know where to start in the race or what direction to run in. So
or even what path to take.
right. So definitely establish that first.
Yeah.
And then I know a lot of people, they don't always rise above to meet their goals, but they always fall down to meet the systems that and the routines that they set in their lives. Like you, for example, what's a common day look like for you? What's a routine?
Toilet for like 5 hours because all the protein shakes. A little filming.
Protein shakes. Did you working out?
Yeah, working out, filming, editing, promos, emails, event coordination. We got a lot going on.
You got it. You got it going on.
I literally have to, like, literally about 2 hours a day is call up people. EST usually because that's where my network is, and Cutco sales. I call and that's where my book of business is. So Cutco, which by the way, price has increased. Although 10%, it is a lifetime warranty.
Forever guarantee.
Unfortunately, right now I'm making videos and I'm not able to sell any product. You're gonna have to go to Robbie Speaks yourself. He's gonna. Hey,
Cutco increase.
my man's he's got you with these knives. Come to me if you need a Quest bar. But honestly,
should we do a knife demonstration on the podcast?
right now, it's already over 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'll grab a knife.
Go get a knife. Go get a knife. Get the that white. Do you have the white one?
Yep.
Yeah. Get that. I didn't know you just had it right there. I thought the whole set. I haven't watched you in 1 year. Oh yeah, good.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. No, honestly, yeah. You guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Cutco, you're thinking cut. You're thinking just nice, but when you hold one of these forks too.
All right, so this knife, I bought it Williams Sonoma. It's a German-made steel knife. This is a $100 knife.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, I did. This is not Cutco, but I just want to show you the effectiveness of Cutco. So this knife I bought for about $100 at the store. And what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and cut this piece of leather, okay, with this knife.
Okay, we need to do this a safe way before TikTok bans us for a dangerous.
Go ahead.
How should we do this?
Just give it a cut like a steak. You can press as hard as you want.
I'm not gonna cut you.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm afraid to cut you.
Yeah, like rips and tears.
Yeah.
You can go all the way through.
I'm so
Try to get through
afraid.
You're good.
I love you so much. I don't want to hurt you.
See how it rips and tears?
I'm so afraid.
That's a common serrated edge knife that most people were used to, but what I'm gonna hand you
It didn't
now,
feel the most pleasant.
I'm gonna put 3 pieces together. Those 2 pieces we just cut, and a third. What I'm gonna hand you
Hey, grab
is
the
a
penny.
this is a Cutco knife.
Now this is a Cutco knife.
Now I'm gonna have to do the same exact thing. 3 pieces here,
And we're being safe. Again, do this all with caution. All with caution.
3 pieces here, and do the same exact thing. See how much pressure it takes for it.
I'm not even pushing. I'm not even pushing.
Just push down.
I'm hardly
Just
pushing.
push down.
That's it.
Let's double it up again. There you go.
And I was
6
so
pieces.
I was so cautious to cut Robbie. I literally let the weight of the knife do it.
6 pieces.
Like, literally, watch. I'm gonna let the knife do itself. That's it. That's it.
Crazy.
Literally, it's so good. It sliced my finger.
Yeah, we had to take him to the ER like a year ago.
I'm like, Robbie, that doesn't look too good. Robbie, yeah, it's dangling.
Dude,
We're
we're gonna have to split that
gonna have
again.
to split that again, dude. We're gonna have to split that. You know what? No, we need to get that cake. That look.
Yo, yeah.
And then the cake of milk.
Yeah, it's gonna be a gallon of milk, but it's gonna be cake.
How much? That's at least
Shaped.
a couple $100 for a cake.
Probably.
Right?
Probably.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna have to.
I think we're gonna make one.
No way. Would you? There's
Maybe.
no.
I don't know. Anyways.
Oh, we'll see.
Maybe not.
We'll
But
see.
it's
It's like.
anyways, guys, get out there, kick some ass, and overcome your fears.
Yes.
Let's go.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. The fact that this is right now still under 35 minutes, I thought this was like closer to 40. So when I saw it was like 24, I was like, no way. Like, so I think. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Or I'm pretty good.
No, for all Cutco inquiries, hit me up, Robbie J. Bobby.
Yeah.
Boom.
And again, I wasn't cutting very slow because I'm like, oh, it's not gonna work. I don't want to cut him because I cut myself. But like,
It's a good knife.
I'm telling you guys, like,
That's the power Cutco, baby.
in this,
$100.
roll for this.
Yeah.
But it's not Cutco.
No, I know. That's people are wasting their money on crap knives.
Why do you have that?
I use it as a demonstration.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, give me, it was only $100.
Comparison purposes.
All right, guys.
Anyways.
I will, again, emphasize that offer. If you want to write down your goals, don't send it to me, send it to this guy. Like, I'm very busy, but he has all the time in the world. No, I'm kidding. Seriously, one of us, whatever, both of us, write down your goals. Don't let your fear stop you. There's no need. And we believe in you. And whether it's through the power of God or through the power of this world, regardless, I do want you to power through. So thank you guys also TikTok for watching. Okay. YouTube, thanks. Robbie J. Bobby, Instagram, Facebook, still TikTok, right? Yep. Robbie J. Bobby?
Yep.
I didn't know if you changed to Robert Speaks or something.
Nope.
All right.
Cool. Well, much love, guys. Thank you for joining VibeCheck, and we love you guys.
See ya.
Peace out.
All right, so what do you want to do now?
Milkshakes? Boba?
Yep, boba. All right, boba.